Okay, I am at 640 Lytle Place in Wilmington, Ohio, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues, root intrusion, anything that may be of concern to the buyer. The access here is an outside clean out right next to the front door here. You can see there's the front door. And here is the clean out right here next to the hose bib. The only thing due to the restrictions on the access here is that this will most likely force me to go out towards the, so this forces me to go downstream, meaning out towards the street, instead of, so I won't be able to inspect the line in the basement. There is a stack in there, but it is back behind the HVAC unit and inaccessible. You couldn't get back there if you tried. And so we're going to be going from this, and we'll inspect from here all the way out to the main. Most issues we find are exterior. You can see as soon as it goes past this clean out, it goes from cast iron into clay, which is normal. Cast iron, just of note, since the interior is cast iron, cast iron is something that you can't really gauge how much life is left in it. It's even when you inspect it, you can tell obvious issues or holes, but you can never tell because it does rust. Just how thin or thick the line is. Most of the time, when they're interior, they're protected a little bit by the concrete. But they are known to be worse if you use wet wipes, stuff like that, in the line, because they catch on the rust, and so it can cause easier backup. So just a little public service announcement there, not to use those at all. And then now it goes directly into clay, which is normal for the age of the house. And normally clay lines stay in pretty good shape. The only thing that you ever really have with clay lines is you could have some root intrusion. It's pretty normal. Something like this, where you have a little bit of root intrusion getting in out of connection. These connections are roughly every 3 feet. And so there's a lot of spots, and then the packing in between those joints can break down over the years, and as you can see, you get a little bit of roots there. There aren't too many close trees to here, so it must be coming from this large one in between the houses. If you're facing the house, it'll be to the left. That's about the biggest one that I've seen that may be an issue. It's just inside the sewer line is just inside the drip edge, so that's probably the culprit. But it's been pretty light as far as the roots are concerned so far, and the farther we get away from that tree, I believe, the less likely we are to find any roots. Roots are pretty easy to treat if they're minimal like that. You can use you can see that there coming in there, and it's kind of moving down the line a little bit. But you can use a chemical a lot of times to treat minor roots like that. Say once a year, you put down something like Root X, and it foams up. You just have to read the directions, but it'll foam up and kind of catch on those roots, and it kind of kills them back or burns them back without killing the tree. Structurally, the line looks pretty good. We just had some minor root intrusion, so it's not a major ordeal. Did you leave a key?
Oh, she left it.
Well, when I set the rate on,
about the largest amount of roots we've seen so far, and it's coming down from the top of the pipe about 80 feet, 81 feet there. So it's got to be one of the trees out by the road.
Good? Not there, is it? All right, Chris, best of luck to you, bud.
Okay, we've made it, we're out about 137 feet there, and I believe I'm in a manhole right in the end of the cul-de-sac. So I'm going to pause the video, locate the camera, and possibly pull the manhole just to verify. Okay, so we are all the way out in the, we are actually in the manhole, so we've made it all the way out to the main. And so we're going to pull back and continue the inspection. there's that last spot there. It's probably the worst spot of roots at about 80 feet, but it's still really minor. It's not causing any obstruction. It's not down into the flow line, but it is something that you would want to watch. Possibly set up a maintenance schedule, like I mentioned earlier, with either some root X, maybe once a year or so, just to protect it, and then have it scoped maybe in about another 5 years, just to check the root growth, and see if you need to set up an actual cleaning schedule or increase the maintenance schedule. The line looks great structurally. It just has a few spots of roots, very minimal amount of roots getting in at the connections. That's a pretty good amount of roots there too. That could probably use a little bit of chemical now, just to be sure it's not going to get any larger. It's not a ton, but it's down in the flow line, and so it wouldn't hurt to do a treatment before you take occupancy. There's a little bit more there. And here we're back at the clean out. Okay, so overall the line looked great structurally. There's just a few spots of really minor root intrusion, and so I'm going to recommend some chemical treatment, probably before you take occupancy, and then maybe once a year, and then have it looked at again in say 3 to 5 years maybe, and just to see what kind of shape the roots are in and if they're being taken care of, so you can get an idea of a maintenance schedule, if at all, other than the root treatment. So that'll end the inspection at 640 Lytle Place in Wilmington, Ohio.